Ever stop and think about what keeps our world, well, running? You know, the massive, complex machinery that powers everything? Well, behind the scenes, there's this critical, almost invisible process going on. It's a high-stakes, deep clean that makes sure the lights stay on and the factories don't just grind to a halt. So, let's dive in and see how it's done. I know, it sounds like the start of a weird joke, right? But the answer to this question actually gets us right to the heart of the whole thing. Believe it or not, they both suffer from the exact same problem, just on a scale that is almost impossible to imagine. So at your house, you might get some lime scale in the kettle or, some grease buildup in a drain. It's annoying, for sure, but you can handle it. In industry, though, the gunk is a whole different beast. We're talking about incredibly tough, corrosive stuff like iron oxides, or these thick, sticky hydrocarbons like paraffins and asphaltenes that can literally bring an entire operation to its knees.
And this problem actually has a name. It's called industrial fouling. That's the technical term for all that unwanted junk building up on really important surfaces. And this isn't just about things being dirty. Fouling is this relentless force that is actively trying to cripple the efficiency and even the safety of absolutely vital equipment.
And the consequences? They are severe. Fouling acts like a layer of insulation, right? So it just kills heat transfer, which wastes a mind-boggling amount of energy. It also causes corrosion that literally eats away at expensive metal, it creates blockages in pipelines, and in the worst cases, it can lead to catastrophic equipment failure and some really serious safety hazards. So how on earth do you fight back against something like that? Well, you don't fight it with a scrub brush, you fight it with science. This is all about chemistry, not brute force. So let's take a look inside the specialist's high-tech toolkit for tackling these massive industrial messes. Okay, first up we've got acid cleaning. The easiest way to think about this is like a super-powered, industrial-strength version of the descaler you use for your coffee machine. It's engineered to dissolve those hard, crusty deposits, things like mineral scale and rust, inside enormous systems like boilers or cooling circuits. And here's the clever part. They use special inhibitors to make sure the acid only eats the gunk, not the metal itself. Next in the kit is alkaline degreasing. You can think of this as the absolutely essential pre-wash stage. See, before you can even think about attacking that hard scale, you've got to cut through all the oils, all the grease, and the sticky films on top. This step clears the path, letting the other specialized chemicals do their job on the really tough stuff underneath. And then, for the really, really nasty, stubborn, sticky stuff, especially the kind you find in the oil and gas industry, you bring out the big guns, solvent cleaning. This is formulated specifically to dissolve that heavy, organic gunk. We're talking sludge, paraffin, wax, the kind of stuff that would otherwise completely clog the arteries of our energy infrastructure. So the bottom line is there is a precise chemical tool for every single job. You've got acids that target scale, alkalis to cut the grease, and solvents to dissolve the sludge. It's a calculated chemical attack, not just a random hose down. Now, having the right tools is one thing, but how you use them is everything. This whole process is way less like cleaning and a lot more like a complex, multi-stage surgical procedure.
And I'm not exaggerating here. You can't just pour these powerful chemicals into a billion-dollar piece of equipment and hope for the best. No way. Every single step has to be meticulously planned and executed with absolute precision to make sure it's effective and, maybe even more importantly, safe.
This process really shows you that precision in action. It follows 7 distinct steps. It all starts with a pre-assessment to figure out exactly what the problem is. Then you move on to isolating the system, flushing it out, and circulating that specific chemical cocktail under perfectly controlled conditions. Afterwards, it's all rinsed and neutralized. And then there's a crucial step called passivation, which puts a protective layer on the metal to stop new rust from forming right away. And finally, a final inspection to make sure the job is done right.
So, after all that incredibly detailed, painstaking work, what's the real payoff? Why does this matter so much? Well, the benefits are absolutely critical. The results are just massive. You restore the equipment's original efficiency, which saves a ton of energy and money. You actually extend its lifespan, which prevents incredibly costly replacements. You clear out pipelines to improve flow. You drastically minimize the risk of a surprise shutdown, and you stop corrosion dead in its tracks. And to put a number on it, we're not talking about small gains here. A proper chemical clean can restore a heat exchanger's efficiency by up to 95%. I mean, that is a staggering return to like-new performance. This quote really just sums up the entire philosophy. The ultimate goal, the whole point of the exercise, is to basically hit the reset button. It's about bringing these massive, hard-working pieces of industrial machinery back to a state of near-factory cleanliness, ready to perform at their absolute peak again.
Of course, a procedure this complex, this hazardous, it doesn't just happen on its own. It takes a highly trained crew and some seriously heavy-duty equipment to pull this off safely and effectively.
Safety is everything. We're talking about strict, non-negotiable protocols. Crews have to do gas tests before entering any space. They're decked out in full chemical-resistant protective gear. The process is continuously monitored. Every single detail, right down to how the waste is disposed of, is managed with extreme care.
And the gear they use is just as impressive. This is basically a mobile chemical plant on wheels. You've got these powerful pumps to circulate fluids, industrial heaters to control the temperature perfectly, and a whole suite of monitoring tools to track every single variable in real time. It's high-tech and human expertise working in perfect sync.
So, the next time you flip a light switch, turn on the tap, or fill up your car, just remember this unseen deep clean. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other invisible, high-stakes operations are going on right now, quietly keeping our complex world from grinding to a halt?